The family of a woman who died of a nut allergy is urging food companies to be clear with their labeling while raising awareness of life-saving practices. Last month, 30-year-old Joanna Salmingo was sharing a dessert she got from Whole Foods with her mother when she had an allergic reaction. Joanna went into anaphylactic shock. She died 17 days later in hospital. The dessert that Joanna ate is usually made of glutinous rice. The store uses a label that warns that it cannot guarantee that their items are free of trace amounts of peanuts or other allergens. But the family says it wasn't clear that the vegan options were made with nut products. Cashew milk was the first ingredient listed. Joanna's death has prompted her family to educate others about food allergies and food labeling practices. For more on this, we're joined now live in studio by Joanna's brother, Joey Salmingo. Thank you so much for joining us. First of all, so sorry for your loss. It must be a difficult time for your family. So tell us what happened last month when this all occurred.
First of all, thank you, G, for having me here. And you'll forgive me when I say I wish I wasn't here right now. I'm here because my sister is not. On the 8th of August, my sister came home with the dessert. I happened to be home with my family visiting at the time. And she shared this dessert with my mom. She bought it from Whole Foods. She had never had it from Whole Foods before. She went upstairs after shortly eating the dessert, and a few minutes later, 5, maybe tops, came stumbling down the stairs, gasping for air. Mom, I still hear it. I relive this every day. My mom instantly knew what was happening. My mom's a working nurse of 40 years. She instantly knew, and the first thing she said was, Joanna, what did you eat? We noticed my sister had her EpiPen in her hand, and my mom started fiddling with it, frantically trying to activate it. But we had noticed that my sister did actually, in fact, activate it herself, because later in hospital, we saw the track mark on her leg. Now, the question remains of whether or not it activated properly, because we don't know what happened upstairs that night. So anyway, just to close off the story, she ended up eventually suffocating. And when you stop breathing, your heart stops. My mom started CPR right away. And it took EMS a while for them to bring her pulse back and stabilize her. And I use that term very loosely, obviously. We eventually made it to hospital. But she had passed away because of lack of oxygen to her brain. And the doctors had deemed her clinically brain dead just a few days after admitting us to ICU.
All right, so it's such a tragedy for your family, but you want people to learn from this experience and you want something good to come out of it. So what do you hope to do? So
my family and I have started something called the F.A.T.E initiative. That stands for Food Allergy Training and Education. And what that basically is it's a forum. We want to be able to educate people on the severity of allergies, in this case food labels, because the reality of it is A, you don't need to be an allergy sufferer to be aware of allergies. Secondary, we associate allergies with children a lot, and absolutely as we should, because children, depending on how young they are, aren't aware enough to take care of themselves. But the fact of the matter is my sister was 30 years old. She was an adult. And it doesn't matter how old you are. If you have an allergy and you're anaphylactic to that particular product, there are chances that your life is at risk. So the initiative is based on research groundwork from Ground Zero, because my mom is a nurse. We also have a paramedic on board. We are getting an allergist on board, and we have a pharmacist on board. And on Monday, the 24th, which is actually a month of when my sister actually had passed away, excuse me, will be our first talk for F.A.T.E. We're talking to an elementary school in York Region, and we're inviting all schools, restaurants, public venues to reach out to us if they're interested in this type of training, because it's life-saving measures, it's how to and what to do, and realistically the science of what happens during an anaphylactic shock, because we need to know what happens when somebody goes into anaphylactic shock. And again, just stressing the severity of food labels and how serious these allergies really are. And that's the other thing you're pushing for, is clear labels on products. Because in this case, it said it may contain, but what was the first ingredient listed? It said may contain nuts, and the first ingredient on the vegan options at Whole Foods was cashew milk. Now, I will just cut that there and just commend Whole Foods, because in the last week they have made changes, and I'm grateful to them for that. But As I mentioned in a video that I made yesterday, the work doesn't stop here. It doesn't mean that just because they change their label that they're going to wash their hands of it. And not just them, other food retailers, other food distributors, as well as food producers themselves. I've been in the restaurant industry for a very long time, probably as long as I've done television appearances. And the one thing that we've come to grow on is the awareness of allergies.
All right, so if anybody wants more information or to support the idea of F.A.T.E,
yes,
where can they go?
So my direct email address is allergies at joeysalmingo.com. That's JOEYSALMINGO. Or you can visit my website at joeysalmingo/Joanna. joeysalmingo.com/Joanna.
All right. Again, we thank you so much for joining us under these tragic circumstances.
Thank you for having me.
And hopefully more companies and schools and everybody will come on board with getting better educated on this matter.
Thank you kindly.
All right.